Hi, and welcome to So You Missed Your iPod, episode 2. In this episode, we have got the Innioasis Y1. Now, this is a handy little device. You might notice that it is basically a rip of like an iPod Classic. It does not feel as premium as an iPod Classic. All of this is plastic. You might notice on the bottom, if you look at it, if I can get my camera to focus, if you look at it like really close right there, there we go, a little better. If you look at it really close right there, the headphone jack is a little off center. The USB-C port, I think, is also a little off center inside of the housing, but I mean, it all works fine. It's not really a big deal. But basically, this little guy is a, it's basically a knockoff of an iPod. I have a custom skin on it via Rockbox that makes it look more like an iPod. The default firmware is okay. Initially, when it shipped to me, it had an issue where if you tried to scroll too fast through your songs, it would actually crash. But that turned out to be like a firmware issue. So when I updated to the newest firmware, it started working again fine. But I liked the look of it being more like an iPod via Rockbox. As far as sound goes, it's pretty good. Pretty much sounds, I have as I said in my last video, I have an old iPod Classic here. And I would say that this sounds pretty much the same as this. Like when adjusted for volume and when I'm playing the exact same track on this and this, I couldn't tell like a huge difference, which makes sense. I mean, this is a very old, at this point, like the DAC and the amp and everything in this is like, I don't know, I think this came out in the early, like 2004, 2005 maybe, so it's definitely not like a, compared to modern DAC amps, it's probably nothing special. As I understand it, this is using something from like 2014 or so. So it's really probably very similar in terms of just general quality. But as far as like usability and features, I think this is a lot better than the Swofi D50, I think is what I reviewed last time. Again, general layout is a lot more similar to a traditional iPod. Try to get this to focus a little better. There we go. So when you're out in like the main space, you have got your files. So that's where you can like look at files directly. Database is the setting that like kind of gets you into the most similar to like an iPod menu. There's some extra stuff. So there's basically, it's like, because you might have a much larger library on this than you would have had on an iPod, since it's got, I think it's 128 gigs of storage built in. You've got like some ways that you can search, so you can do like first letter and pick album artist, albums, tracks by, file name, title of track, duration. You can go straight to shuffle songs. You can actually try and search. And then you can have like user ratings and have your recently added playback history, all that stuff. So that all works pretty well. And then you have sort of your standard like album artist. I haven't really been able to understand like the difference between the two of these, but it seems to create some sort of differentiation. I'm not really sure why. And then you've also got album, genre, year. I don't know what pulls up. Yeah, so I mean, you get like genres in here, but I think that that's based on the metadata of the tracks that you have. I don't think that it like sorts that on its own. But yeah, so you can scroll through pretty much the same way that you would on an iPod. The scroll wheel, nowhere near as good as the scroll wheel of an iPod. You can't scroll as fast. The the feel of it is not as good. It does like a little bit of a vibration. So it's like trying to give you some feedback as you spin, but I just feel like in general, like you just can't scroll nearly as fast as you could scroll on like an old iPod. Let's see, we can just go to, we'll just go to artist, and then I can kind of show you like if you really kind of get going, it scrolls like decently fast, but you really have to like get it just right. If you fall off like the left or right at all, it like really does not scroll very fast. So that definitely makes it a little bit harder. I also want to say, like, if I go in here and then come back out, just kidding. I swear at some point, maybe I'm thinking of the Sophie, but one of these, it was like when you came out of the artist menu, it like took you all the way back to the top, but this one doesn't do that, so it's not a problem. In general, it costs $50. I feel like for $50, this is a lot of player for your money. If you don't want to spend the money on an old iPod, they did, I believe, recently on the Innioasis subreddit. The company supposedly, I think, is looking at like a Gen 2 of this. So I don't know if I would recommend buying this one or waiting to see if that Gen 2 comes out. But I would say as like a potential iPod replacement, it's pretty good. I think it gets the look right. I think that it is like lightweight, it's small and portable. It has Bluetooth. It works with my Bose QC35s, which are Gen 1s, I believe, not the Gen 2 QC35. But it does not work with my AirPods Pro second generation. So for that, it is not ideal, I would say, because I feel like for something this small, really what I like wanted to be able to do with this thing was throw it in my pocket for runs and connect it to my AirPods. But it'll connect to the AirPods, but then it doesn't play any sound out of them. No matter what I do, I've tried a couple different things and haven't been able to get that to work. So that's obviously kind of an issue. Trying to think anything else. Like a lot of these like types of MP3 players has an FM radio. You have to have that plugged into headphones for it to work. If you want to listen to FM radio, then it can do it. That's about all I can really say about it. It's not really what I like to do, so I haven't used that feature much, but you can. It does have the ability for some apps, because I believe this is all like an old Android based thing. So you can technically have some apps and things on it, but like not really. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. It has a built-in speaker. Not that it's like anything really special, but you know, if we go to maybe we don't do Led Zeppelin because that feels like we get flagged immediately. I don't know. What will not immediately get flagged? John Denver? I don't know. Whatever. We'll just do it. We'll see. Nope, not what I said to do. Oh, yes. Yeah, so don't know if you can hear that. Before that gets flagged or something. Yeah, it's a tiny built-in speaker. It doesn't sound that good, but it has one. I think that's pretty much it. Honestly, there's really not like too much to say in a good way, which is to say that it exists. It's pretty cheap. I got the black one, but they do come in some fun colors. There's like a teal and a yellow. I think that if you put Rockbox on it to make it look more like an iPod, you could actually probably fool a lot of people into thinking you just are walking around with like an old iPod Classic or something like that. And yeah, I mean, it comes with a lot of storage. I think that, you know, if you were using like FLAC files or something like that, you probably can't have like tons and tons, but also with 130 gigs, I mean, I think you could probably still have a couple thousand of those at least on there, and that would be good. So yeah, Innioasis Y1, I would say it's a thumbs up, thumbs up from me, as an iPod replacement if you're interested. And yeah, hope this was helpful.